Hello again, everyone. Melth here, with one of the final episodes of my Baldur's Gate 3 challenge run, details of which are in the YouTube video description. This time we'll be going to confront the final boss, but not really, and instead we'll end up going to do a couple of semi-secret / missable fights on the way to the final boss, which are quite a lot of fun, I would say. Watch out for spoilers throughout this run. So, once we get onto that boat, the endgame begins. And the endgame of Baldur's Gate 3, I would say, is really a roller coaster of quality. There are some great moments, there are some good character moments, there are some really fun battles that are challenging and interesting and good callbacks of earlier game stuff. There's also a lot of garbage. And most of this sequence that begins after we get on the boat and ends when we leave the Astral Prism is probably the worst part of the entire game, I would say. It ruins things that were good before, just throwing out sensible plot points to try to shoehorn in a last-second plot twist that does not actually hold up to any kind of thought or analysis. Characters go completely out of character and forget their main motives and do things that don't make any darn sense at all. Old established rules are just scrapped for no reason and replaced with new stuff that is then also just scrapped for no reason. And a lot of really actually good atmospheric build-up here that I like is just completely wasted and thrown out. And all your choices are fake choices, just illusion of choice. Nothing you've done up until this point, nothing you do here matters at all.
Cuts through.
But thankfully we have good moments to look forward to after we get through this garbage pile. It's also a peculiarity, neither good nor bad, that the ending phases of this game are much lower magic than the beginning, which is the opposite trend of what you expect in most RPGs as you become more magical and go confront the final threat. Like the Elder Brain here, its plan is to drop a rock on our rickety rowboat. Contrast that to the very beginning of the game, where we were hurtling through space and dimensions on a living spaceship, being attacked by packs of dragons and battling literal devils that were boarding the ship. That's how the game began, and now they're dropping a rock on our rowboat as we go to confront the final boss for a fake confrontation. As I said, it's not necessarily a bad thing, it's just a somewhat peculiar choice in some respects.
An overwhelming force pushes into your mind.
Kind of an ominous setup for the brain, which would be great if this whole ominous cave environment wasn't about to be just thrown in the dumpster, and we're going to be told to just forget about that stuff. That was the fake final confrontation area. Nothing here matters. Nor will the brain be able to do this kind of stuff when we're going to the actual confrontation with it. Now, they clearly put some care into designing this area, which is great, but it doesn't matter, it's all wasted. You know, there's like gold defined, but that doesn't matter now. Nothing of actual value for the endgame is findable here. The only enemies are these little brain boys that were something we fought on the Nautiloid at the beginning of the game. They haven't gotten stronger since then, they'll just die in like one hit anything we can throw at them at this point. There is one little fight against them that is barely worth the effort. It's an ambush, and it's still inconsequential. Now, there are side paths, but there's nothing on them. There's a lot of room here where they could have had you do a big endgame fight against all the Elder Brain's minions here or something like that, but I do appreciate the detail of the headless corpses that had their brains removed to make Intellect Devourers, at least, and they're the Knights of the Shield mafia group that the Emperor used to be in charge of the local branch of. Anyway, here is the ambush room.
Control.
Don't bother setting up things like summons or elixirs or concentration spells. They'll all be stripped off you, both by the mind broken status effect breaking your concentration, and also just when you get to the forced long rest before the real endgame, you lose all your buffs and things like that. Yeah, I guess we'll just walk in and have the ambush happen. It's no big deal. It's just a few intellect devourers that we could have killed on the Nautiloid. Alright. We're going to avoid using any long rest resources here, because we're about to get a forced restoration and so forth. And as I mentioned last time, We wanted to do the rest for story scenes, but not to actually get any mechanical benefit last time, so we don't want to use anything that we got back there, essentially. So, we'll not be using any of my new spell slots until we get the actual restoration as we move into the real endgame.
Let me recite their demise.
We'll just use items like the speed potion and things like that.
Creator.
Okay, so yeah, hop on up there. And I guess if we shoot the Intellect Glutton, it'll probably blow up on some of its friends. If they don't all just die. We'll see about that, I guess. Okay, they all just died, so yeah, whatever. So there's another wave of reinforcements. We could get life essence set up. I might just do a Circle of Death scroll. Yeah, scrolls would not be restored on the rest anyway. We have a lot of them. So yeah, let's see if we can set it up to where we hit a lot of targets there on both groups. Is that doable? Is that not doable? Okay, if it doesn't really matter, fine. I'll just throw it out there. Forget about it.
Need to learn the hard way.
I guess if we had Ballista blow up the Intellect Gluttons, that would maybe take out some of their buddies. Does he have Call the Weak on? Yes, okay. An enemy that makes his easy enemies easier by literally blowing up its buddies for us is not my idea of an interesting challenge at this point in the game.
Mistra Rill. Oh yes.
These creatures were not themselves. Corruption.
That could again be good build-up, and here's the increasingly slimy and creepy mind flare corruption and so forth as we walk into the monster's lair. I like that. It's a shame it doesn't matter. And it's all just a fake out. Likewise, if you sided with Gortash, that choice is also a fake choice. It doesn't matter. He just gets inexplicably instant killed. And all your decisions are invalidated and you get the exact same outcome.
Thrall.
I guess Bane didn't actually want to win enough to do the basics and protect him from one psychic attack or whatever. Yeah, whatever. We don't even need to wait for people to be here. It doesn't. It literally doesn't matter. Nothing matters here. So down we go to what could be a great area to have a final confrontation.
Deathly silence. The air is stale and putrid.
It's close. Have the stones ready.
Your blood slows. Your senses strung so tight they could snap in an instant.
You think you know why
So,
you are here.
this is, I think, the worst part. They try to cram in a plot twist that doesn't make any sense and makes other things retroactively not make sense. We didn't need to have this plot twist here. The plot had already had good twists and turns along the way. And in a game like this, that out of character has had many rewrites and changes along the way, one should not expect the plot to make perfect sense. And the writers should be aware that there are going to be some inconsistencies when you've had to do a bunch of rewrites along the way. That is not then a good time to try to, at the last second, change up your whole plot with a plot twist without actually thinking it through. The notion that the Other Brain had planned out everything we did makes no sense on so many levels. First of all, a lot of what happened was clearly out of any possible control or understanding or prediction.
Don't listen to it.
And for that matter also, it was under mind control at the time and supposed to be working against us. We keep having this inconsistency in the game where people that are under mind control can, whenever the writers want them to, directly disobey the controllers, and at other times can't disobey at all, depending on whatever's convenient for that particular conversation point. Nothing matters here, it doesn't matter. Pick arbitrary stats, you don't even bother. It doesn't matter. Only the final roll has any effect whatsoever, and even that barely matters. I don't like that your choices and builds and things are completely irrelevant.
You have simply unbound me.
Now, if the Other Brain always wanted us to defeat the Chosen and free it, why did it, before it had been given orders to get rid of us, keep having its mind flayers try to kill us? That makes no darn sense.
Focus on the crown.
There could have been a reevaluation where, oh, that's why that happened, but there's not. Now, you could maybe try to give the writers the excuse that the brain is just lying to us, but it's clear actually the writers meant for us to take this as truth and meant for us to think that this is coherent when it's not. And nothing the brain has done throughout the entire plot makes any darn sense this way.
The crown is not my weakness.
I also want to point out, we're in some kind of non-real space here, right? This is an abstract representation, I guess, of our battle of wills. This is not the physical cave anymore. The brain does not have that actual face or whatever. Which will then make it pretty weird when the Emperor magic portals in here and then magic portals us out of abstract space into an actual other dimension or whatever. Again, I don't think the writers actually thought about what it was doing. They just were thinking one visual and one sentence at a time. And that, I think, leads to a lot of the problems in the endgame, where they're just picking whatever sounds cool in the moment without trying to make things make sense.
Are now mine to give.
I won't allow it. Again, dominate it.
And I also want to point out, we spent a lot of the quest getting these nether stones and so forth. You know, the entirety of Act 3 and part of Act 2 revolved around that. To just say, nope, none of that actually mattered, is not very satisfactory.
You became a pawn in my design. Who do you think told the Chosen about the Astral Prism?
Now, this is like the one part that kind of makes a little bit of sense. Like, it was established as a mystery before now. How did the Chosen find out about that? The Emperor's like, I don't know, that's an important mystery, but we don't know. So that part is almost good, but we still have the problem that
Knowing it would
when you're mind controlled, to what extent can you actually act directly against your controllers? And the answer depends on the scene.
send from the Chosen's
It was able, I guess, to act against the controllers in exactly this way, but not in other ways along the way that led up to here. But it is now able to just attack and kill Gortash, or despite him still having a stone and being one of the original controllers. Whatever. They weren't trying to be coherent. They're trying to just, one sentence at a time, have cool stuff happen.
Now you will witness the grand design.
Shit! No! It's all been leading.
No, it hasn't. None of it has led to this. They just made that up. Anyway, this is the one check that has any mechanical effect whatsoever. It doesn't matter what you pick, though. You should just go for advantage with, here's like a basic spell I had spell slots for, and then just spend your inspirations and hope that you get a 20. And that will have a negligible effect on the final fight. I think we're into one round no matter what, so this doesn't actually make a difference, but whatever, we'll try it. The odds, if you have, full inspiration and advantage, are decent of getting a 20, and thereby taking a few hit points off the boss's final hit point pool. There we go. But again, I think I could beat it in one round, or half a round probably, regardless of it having lowered hit points or not. So I guess a magic portal is opened from abstract imagined space, where also Karlach is sometimes, to the Astral Prism, somehow. And now the brain goes to a completely different area to attack the city. Could have done that before now if it wanted to. I think it would rather have had just one of these two things. Either you get the 3 stones, but oh no, the brain attacks the city immediately. Or you just actually have the confrontation in that cave after the proper atmosphere and build-up. They're also going to decide again in this scene that newborn mind flayers are at full power and super deadly. They've waffled on that, whatever was convenient for the plot at the time. Sometimes newborn mind flayers are pretty helpless and easy to defeat, which is their lore. But other times they're immediately at full power. I also feel like, of course, we really should have had a chance to warn people this would be exactly what would happen before this point. But there's no way to just tell anyone about the Absolute's plans along the course of the plot. Even when you've defeated Gortash, there'd be no official person stopping you from spreading the word. I also don't really get how any of this actually will further the grand design, unless they really think they can take over literally the entire world with just brute force. Like, this is not going to accomplish the goal of mind flayers ruling everything.
This is an elder brain. No longer. The magic of the crown has caused it to evolve. It has become something more. Another brain. I thought so too, but that was when I believed it was still an elder.
Now, there's no reason that the stones wouldn't work per se, it's just a new arbitrary thing they made up.
I underestimated it. We will need to rethink our plan. Because they want to try to force us into a made-up, nonsensical choice of having someone become
a mind flayer and pretend that that would in any way solve the made-up new problem. Although it won't, because they'll decide that that's not enough either. You just need to beat the brain's willpower into submission in an abstract imaginary realm using your actual physical weapons and scrolls or whatever that get consumed in imagined reality.
I have assessed our encounter with the Netherbrain from every angle. I know why we failed. The problem was not the stones. The problem was you. You can make only one move at a time.
There's just no reason this should matter. The stones do what the stones do. They're tied to the crown. They are made by a human for humans.
It knows everything.
There's no reason that being an Illithid should be relevant to getting the desired outcome here.
You would have to think like an Illithid. Better yet, be one. Your mind.
At most, you could argue for, like, just get a better wizard to do it or something like that. That would make some sense, maybe.
You will give the stones to me. I will assimilate Orpheus, and then I will be able to leave.
I'm not clear on why he would need to assimilate Orpheus, because he's able to leave the prison whenever he feels like it anyway, seemingly.
This fella and his ultimatums. But he's forgetting one thing. We could become Illithid. I mean, I could. You could trust me to do what needs to be done.
Now, we shouldn't be able to trust that. For some reason, we just seem to know in this scene that we'll actually, despite everything we've been told previously, keep our personalities and keep our goals and not immediately become a generic mind flayer. Somehow or other, it'll be just fine and we'll keep our personalities and we'll definitely not side with the Elder Brain, and neither will Orpheus or whatever. So, I think we'll just go with this, because out of character what the Emperor said is true, but not for intelligent reasons, and it's nonsense in character. And he's lied to us about everything. Yeah, I don't trust you because you lied to us all the time. What we've been through is your fault, too.
I have been yourself.
Now, it's also just bad writing that the Mind Flayer at the very beginning looks exactly like him and no one else does, the one who tadpoles us. That apparently was not actually the writer's intent for him to be the one that tadpoled us. It's just a bizarre coincidence and nonsense because they added him into the plot at the last minute, basically, rather than having planned this from the beginning.
But I did not shy away from showing.
You lied to us about your true nature repeatedly. You showed us fake vulnerability, admitted that it was fake later on. You admitted that you thought of us as just pawns from the beginning.
I did not flinch.
No, you told us like 3 different layers of lies about your true identity. At the moment he says, "I never lied to you, not once," I think Baldur would attack on the spot.
The same story. I encouraged you
He's lied to us 50 times.
all while protecting you from harm. Now I ask you for the last time to trust me. Release the nether stones to me.
Do not forget, there's a card.
Yeah, we have so many cards left to play.
The orb. If we do not want to surrender the stones.
Now this is also not a good plot point, because it's, again, completely arbitrary, where blowing up the brain here somehow leads to a perfectly good ending. When it's over the city, that should be nuking the entire city. Whereas blowing it up safely underground leads to the Mind Flayers taking over the entire Sword Coast. There's no coherent reason why this should lead to a good outcome, but it does, inexplicably.
Trust me. Hand me the stones. It is true that I withheld reality. I showed Orpheus and his guards as evil beings.
Now, to be fair, they are evil beings.
You in the form of someone you would trust. Someone who wasn't a mind flayer. But I am a mind flayer. Illusion is my language, just as words and actions.
Lies and domination and cruelty are my language. Can you blame me for being pure evil by nature? And refusing to accept treatment for that? Not to mention we have the example of Omeluum. So, no.
I told you.
Anyway, so he will now just decide that he's going to go join the Elder Brain and become its slave, I guess, throwing out his entire supposed characterization up until this point. It doesn't make any darn sense. He could just peace out to another plane with his plane shift he's about to do. and he'd be out of his control if we just hope that we manage to solve the problem here. Worst case scenario, he then becomes a slave or whatever, but that's not better than what he's currently going to be doing, so...
In order to survive, I must now join.
That doesn't make any... whatever, dude. I think in character this conversation doesn't happen. We just probably took at the Orphic Hammer and swung it at his face the moment he said, "I've never lied to you." But I just wanted to show the full stupidity of that conversation.
Doubt we'll get much in the way of gratitude. Only one way to find out.
Alright, so now let's get out the Orphic Hammer and free this guy. I suppose we have to.
Let's get this over with.
As the Githyanki prince takes his blade, a silent cry pierces your head. It's unlike any sensation you've ever felt.
You reek of Illithid. You took advantage of my powers, and you slaughtered my honor guard.
Yeah, when they attacked us.
Nonetheless.
Alright, he's sounding sensible there, but he's going to reveal that he's not terribly sensible at the same time.
Address me as your majesty.
Shut up, space tyrant.
You should have yielded to them.
This is one of the stupidest things ever said by a character in the game. Now maybe it's meant to be stupid in character.
Destined to become Geik. Would have done.
We had no idea what was going on. The notion that we should let them kill us, which would then destroy the whole world or whatever, is just insane. They would have freed you. No, the whole freaking plot was that you can't be freed in any way except by the Orphic Hammer. I don't know if the writers are screwing up here or if he's just in character incoherent. Maybe we'll go with that and take the interpretation that he in character is incoherent.
Yes, I do. The Geik was correct about one thing. The Netherbrain's power is beyond us. The hardest metal in the world would not cut through its mind, for it is made of thought itself.
We could probably just destroy its physical braininess. We get to stand on it and have dragons land on it later on. I do feel like we could probably just cut the thing into bits, given that we're able to wreck all its minions and things like that, but I guess we won't consider that possibility. Now this also makes no darn sense in any level. How does he suddenly turn into a Mind Flayer? At no point was it established that he had a tadpole. It's also in no way logical to think that if he turns into a Mind Flayer, he'll keep his powers, and that he'll keep his personality. It keeps being said that when you become a Mind Flayer, you have no soul or whatever, but now suddenly that doesn't matter anymore. We don't have an option to point out that kind of stuff, I guess. So, imagine Baldur saying this sarcastically to the evil space tyrant who wants to rule and enslave the galaxy.
The brain will be only too pleased to claim me. Even in my darkest hours, I knew it was my destiny to save my people. I could never have imagined this would be the way. Givkar Tavkim crushed.
Maybe the Emperor tadpoled him? You think that would be a risk the Emperor wouldn't want to take, because that would risk the Elder Brain then not needing... whatever.
All to wield these. Let us seek out the Nether Brain and finish this.
That'll take a while to prepare. We get a forced restoration, but all our summons were forcibly dispelled and our elixirs were purged off of us and things like that. So we have a lot of rebuffing to do for the final battle. And don't worry, Orpheus, I am happy to kill you after this. Ballista has always hated you.
fates and end this illithid night.
Alright, well, I will take a while now to resummon all my stuff and get set up for the final battle. Alright, here we are, ready to leave the Astral Prism. We've resummoned things, re-injured people for Loviatar's Love and Helmet of Grit, and given people their elixirs, and everything like that should be ready to go once more. Except for an elixir for Orpheus. We can't give him one here until we leave the prison. For some reason, this portal now dumps us out in the upper city. I have no idea why, but very convenient for us. I guess the dragons could have shown up to attack the Elder Brain any time, but waited until now in particular. Might have been better to do that while it was a little bit weaker. And somehow we'll find pretty much the whole army of the Absolute is instantly inside the city, too. We'll be finding goblins and various kinds of cultists up here in the core of the city. Maybe they were landed or teleported in, but it's never really explained. Yeah, we had, after all, defeated the general and all the chosen who would be helping them, so one would expect them to be in a bit of disarray. There's also the matter that some of them are tadpoled, yes, and those ones will obey, but we found out a lot of the cult are not, tadpoled, and we destroyed their tadpoling centers, so they could not have been tadpoling new people very easily. And a lot of them just freaked out at the mere sight of Mind Flayer tadpoles and did crazy things like jump into the water, and so it does seem a little odd that they're all now fanatically following what are just Mind Flayers with no more chosen involved even. Some I'm sure would do that.
It's dark.
Alright, now this is meant to be Orpheus talks them down, but I think for the sake of having another fight for the challenge, we're going to just attack here and pretend that they can't be talked down. Ballista is happy to dispose of a few more Githyanki anyway. Alright, got our murder on that one. Now, these guys have that parry ability, which is very dangerous in terms of negating offense if we're not careful. It will reduce an incoming attack by 20 damage before resistance and vulnerability apply, and notably, it'll reduce all damage types on that attack by 20. So if you have a multi-type attack, like, for example, Gale would do, piercing and also cold and also psychic and also necrotic, I think, all of those will get just negated, basically. But if you make them waste their parry on a weak attack like that, then they're blinded and they're out their parry. So, there we go. We'll try the same thing on Voss. You can also make them do an attack of opportunity, and that will waste their one reaction for the turn too. But, I'd rather not give these powerful Githyanki warriors a free hit if I don't need to. I could also knock him prone with an Ice Method's Ice. That could maybe work. I never used Ice Methods before on this run, because I think they're usually pretty bad. All the methods are, because they have this nasty problem of when they die, they blow up probably on your own forces, and they're pretty fragile. But I gave mine both high-level Aid and high-level Hero's Feast, so that solves that problem. Alright, well, he's prone, so no reactions for him. This guy has Counterspell, we don't want that, so let's see if we can prone him as well. Nice, okay, no more reactions for anyone here. So, Minthara, you have Aura of Murdered him. Let's have Gale get up into high ground for that sweet little bonus, and then shoot, and this should kill or almost kill him. We could finish him. I'll feed that kill to Ballista to set him up instead, I think.
Ready for battle. Understood.
Once this guy starts to bleed, that will probably de-ice the area, so we'll therefore shoot him first, and then try to move Minthara through. Sure, you get a sneak attack. That will probably do. That didn't de-ice quite as much as I wanted. But that was a little enough ice we didn't have to make a check, so that worked. Perfect. Alright. If we Aura of Murder you, that would be good. Can we get close enough for that? We'll see.
Right away.
Yeah, that's an Aura of Murder right there.
Destroyer.
Now, do we have line of sight to you? We do. Okay. I was a little surprised by that, I'll admit. And now let's get Ballista in on the action. He's probably set up enough to do what we want here. Make sure Cold of the Weak doesn't steal our kills. Gale finish that guy off, I guess.
On the double.
Gale can't slip on ice because Gale has the boots that make you not able to slip. Alright, well, none of them have anything that we really want because the game is over, so there's nothing left to do. This guy might have an arrow of slaying though, so I'll check him at least. No? Okay. Doesn't matter then. Onward.
This way before.
So through here we'll meet a whole bunch of allies for a pretty great scene, I think. I really enjoy this.
We have lost much already.
All the quests we've done to save people and help people along the way all kind of have their payoff now, and we'll get to see everyone, give us some encouragement, and give us either buffs or the ability to summon them in the upcoming fight.
It is more than a place of opportunity for those of mercantile spirit. More than a place of refuge for those who are lost. More than a home for friends, loved ones, and adventuring souls. Baldur's Gate is a place where anyone can find what they need, if they're just willing to fight for it. Today, Baldur's Gate needs us. Today, we fight for... You're late, friend. This is the one you spoke of.
I said only kind and flowery things.
How did Harper Chihira beat us here, come to think of it? You'd think she would have been with us for the confrontation going to the brain.
To be saved.
The Fist examines your illithid ally with suspicion. He was not expecting the savior of Baldur's Gate to be accompanied by a mind.
Yeah, fair point. I wasn't expecting that either.
They change, but they do not mask the one within.
Now, Withers, of course, made a whole big deal before about illithids don't have souls, which contradicts all previous lore about them that I'm aware of, and also contradicts things in this very game, including, I guess, this scene here, where the one within is still the same somehow or other.
Thy city, and thy...
Likewise, if we die as an illithid, he'll visit us in the afterlife and be like, oh yeah, you do still have a soul, I guess.
Softening to curiosity.
So, who knows? They couldn't be consistent with their new lore that threw out the old lore.
There's more behind those eyes than malice.
My steel is yours, and I'm not alone.
You helped me once. I figured it's time I paid you.
I helped you like 3 times, Arabella.
I'm better at crafting steel than wielding it. Your friend here is armored and potion-fueled and ready for battle.
They grow up so fast, and then get used as adorable child soldiers, I guess.
Safety is of paramount importance, citizen. My services are at your disposal.
Whatever strength I have.
I think there's supposed to be a Gondian there to say that they've got a steel watch that's under their control or whatever, but I killed all the Gondians for the sake of the challenge run.
I have to offer a mind flare, if I'm honest. But I hope my words of encouragement and reassurance will strengthen your resolve.
The journey has been brutal, but I stand here a Hell Rider once more.
Yeah, proud of you, Zevlor.
And if I died this day,
All the strength of the lands we...
And this is probably the strongest buff of all. Having broken the Shadow Curse means Thando now gives you a +1 to all your ability scores across the board for all your characters, which is crazy good. Both for the fun of just maxing ability scores, which I made a video about, and also just phenomenally a power increase. But I didn't feel like re-speccing every single character to make use of that, so it goes to waste
Stir
here.
their hearts and put fire in their bellies for the fight ahead.
Well said. We'll prepare ourselves. We'll be ready when you call upon us.
So, you can summon some of them, spending your action to do so. When I first played the game, that was completely bugged, and the summon just didn't work, and it wasted your turn, and you got nothing for it, which sucked. Now it's working, but I think it's not really worth it for my characters, per se, because my actions are a lot stronger than what any of these guys can do, really.
Knew I was smart to sneaks in. The Skelly boy said I could stay if I sold you stuff. So hurry up. Bye, bye, bye.
I'm going to check in for Slayer arrows, basically. Oh, there's one. Humanoid sling. Yeah, sure, we'll take it. That could be useful. I don't know what I'm buying an elixir for. Game's over. Now, I do also want to point out, if you steal anything here, everyone will decide, screw saving Baldur's Gate, we can't let you get away with petty theft, and they'll attack you and try to kill you. Which is pretty crazy. out here is a few missable fights. We'll try to get all of those. So I'm going to get my crowd of people around that corner. Then we will close that. No, there's no gate to close there. Okay. Then we will have Ballista fly up here where some citizens will turn into mind flayers and attack. I don't know how some people in the upper city in particular got tadpoled. Alright. Let's get a Raven in on things. See if we can blind them and set Ballista up for success.
Still breathing, despite everything.
Wait, why do I only have 95 despite that guy being blinded? I don't know. Critical miss. Unfortunate. Okay, well you've got a Deva. We can get in on the action here. I gave the Devas both Bloodlust elixirs this time. You might recall I mentioned during the big adventure day in Act 3, I gave one Deva the Hag's Broken Promises potion, which is an excellent use of that potion. But it is only one time, so.
Never quiet.
No, wait, no, you guys are going the wrong way. We're not going to have you fly in and aggro things in the wrong sequence. We've got a secret-ish battle to find.
What's going on?
Well, one little skirmish first. Two little skirmishes. Then a secret-ish battle.
Dragons! Overhead! Stay low!
Oh, did everyone else not come with me? Come on, guys. I thought the soldiers would come running out by now. Well, it gives me a chance to get rid of the fire here before it causes any problems for me, I guess.
What now?
Oh, didn't get rid of that fire.
Expertise. Such a headache.
Are we not going to get the cutscene with the Watchman fleeing? What's going on? Okay, usually it seems to happen earlier for me. I'm not sure what's going on here. So, the upper city has specialized watchmen rather than the Flaming Fist mercenaries. So they have two different groups that only really serve the upper class in Baldur's Gate.
We have to keep running!
And will abandon their comrade and so forth here.
Mindful.
I guess we'll just attack here, just have another fight or something like that. Hard to justify in character. We'll try to keep it separate from the actual Mind Flayer battle over there. We want to take that as one humongous fight. So, we'll deal with just these guys for now, I guess.
A tale for the ages.
Never a dull moment.
Rough tempest I will raise. Don't know what hit him.
Okay, fine. I'll walk a little closer. Alright. So, the easily missable fights begin over here on this side path, basically. If you go down this path, you'll have the giant major courtyard battle, which we'll come back and do. But for now, we're going to walk over here and fly/jump over here. There'll be a couple little ghouls to fight, and then we'll get into the sewers that let you bypass the big fight. But they have a Death Knight in them, which we'll probably want to battle, among other things. Where's the other winged horror? Up there? Okay. We'll do them one at a time in that case. We'll turn off Cold of the Weak so we can just guarantee the kill on this one without it getting kill stolen. So it's then guarantee we have Bloodlust. And then, sure, we'll get up here. That should give us high ground against that guy, right? We probably don't need it because our accuracy is so massive at this point. Great. And I think lower down is the entrance we seek. And I believe when we find it, all our summons and people will be teleported in with us regardless of location. I think.
Here we go.
Gotta ignore that chest. It doesn't really matter about treasure at this point. The game is over. That looks like just about everyone. Yeah, okay. Well, I can't say the goblin bosses got much stronger from Act 1, but it is, fun and cool to me that they have brought back various critters we fought from across the game. Alright, now, I forget what's back through this door. I'll check that. I know the big fight begins through that door there. The big fight against the Death Knight and his friends, that is. Oh, is it not actually pickable? Maybe it's a fake entrance. Okay, well, let's get into the big Death Knight fight in that case. Though I think this is actually probably taking long enough, I should save that for next time and maybe do both the humongous battles together there. Guess it's beginning now, and we're a little bit out of formation. But their initiatives are pretty much all terrible for almost all enemies across the endgame, so it shouldn't be too hard to get our guys out of the way. Illithid Arcanist there can do counterspell, I think. Death Knight is the real threat. He's got that 20d6 damage fireball type thing. There's, okay, random goblins over there. That one's not such a big deal. Bane people are worthless. Death Knight is the problem. We'll need to focus some resources on making sure we have people that can fly, can get over to him, and killing off the Illithid Arcanist, I would say.
Unleash me. Fresh orders?
What are your odds of making it over there? That's a ladder. You can do it. We could use a fly potion here. How many fly potions do we have? 3. Yeah, we've got about 3 fights left. This is probably an okay place to use one of them. So, sure. Yeah, we'll get you in there, and then we'll get our main people together and give them fly. Okay. Well, we'll fly you over there. Karlach might not need the speed potion as much as the others once someone clears the way for her, which, that should be easy to do. So, yeah, Minthara, you get in on the speed potion. That will certainly help you a lot on your little run. Can't get over that. Yeah, we could have you just run in a loop and get all of them that way, I bet. With 1 dash, probably. Just helping send Gale around in sequence. Could an Error of Many Targets work there? Probably not. So... yeah, I think it's going to be similar outcomes either way. So, yes, we'll have you get over there. And then that should allow Gale to... Can we not scoot past that guy? Okay, fine. Gale will need to finish that one off then. And then maybe shoot an arrow of undead slaying at that guy. We will see what makes sense with how much damage they end up taking here. I like how that went. Okay. Minthara, I think your path is clear. Stand next to the Death Knight and we'll turn him into a Dead Knight. Where is that arrow of undead slaying? I should really remember to turn on sneak attack before shooting one of those off because it does increase the damage substantially. Alright.
Nothing will stand in my way.
Well... how many foes are grouped together for Ice Blasts? Not that many, really. I guess we'll do this to leave a clear path for people to walk by if we need to. Yeah, we'll take that. Do I have another Ice Myrmidon ready to go? That was yours. There's yours. Okay. Yeah, we'll go for this one. That should be fine. Here we don't need to care about leaving a clear path necessarily. Well, we did nothing to that guy anyway.
One can't always be a gentleman.
Yeah, fine. I'll just do a... do I need... given how much weaker that attack is, because it has fewer accuracy buffs, and this guy has high AC, do I need to do Sharpshooter for this one? Maybe I'll turn off Sharpshooter and just shoot him with a Dread Ambusher range like that. There we go. Okay.
Let me strike. Yes.
Mistra Rill.
And now we'll turn that back on. Should be instant death to that one over there. And Minthara, can you get over to the Bay Knight? He had a decent number of hit points. Yeah, sure, we'll have you dash.
I seek an advantage.
And we'll have Gale fly on over there, I think. I don't think an arrow of many targets will work here. We'll just fire off a single ultra arrow at the Bay Knight. Do we have enough humanoid slayings to just spend one of those here? There aren't that many humanoids left in the game. Yeah, that should be fine.
On your command. Yes.
Well, you are now Aura of Murderable for all of our skeleton buddies. Oh, you know, I should remember to have my ravens get in on the action here and blind people. Didn't really matter up until now. Yeah, I like how they're mixing together the Axe 1, 2, and 3 foes. And we're getting to see a little bit of everything here. Nice callbacks to the earlier parts of the game there.
I thirst for combat.
What are your odds of shooting that zealot? Pretty good. Okay, we'll give you a Hex. And one thing we know is that if we shoot you, you'll come back at 1 HP, but it still counts as a kill for Bloodlust, so that will work just well for Ballista's purposes. We must simply make sure that the kill is not stolen by Cole the Weak. Okay, now we can call the weak away. And that should be the finisher. Okay, who's even left? Oh, right. Yeah, 1 HP person. Silly me. Well, I know who should get that kill. It's Karlach, so we can get Life Essence and bring that into the next fight. There we are. Alright. Well, we have wiped that encounter pretty handily, but we will now backtrack and not take this shortcut. And, although I am curious what the Death Knight has, I'm gonna just check that. But we'll backtrack and then do the mega fight next time. Okay, just generic gear that we don't care about. So, back we go. Mega fight coming up. Thank you for watching, everyone. And a special thank you to my Patreon supporters. Keely, Master Knight DH, Jackie, Enlino, Travis, Andrew Curzon, Trubsy, Oliver, Croniche, Jago, Avocado Sandwich, Gregory, Broken Box, Jenna M, Just Becca, Jack, Nubiana, Nicholas Schmuck, Kostya Nesterovich, Frederick Brune, Emperor Kong 420, Robin, Stefan Van Zyl, Eddie, Mina, Ali Kasamoglu, Skylar Sauce, Nick Myers, Emp Ninjas, Chupaton, Diabetic Cat, Marvin Fang, Max, Afro Zamurai, Lodestone, Bic Mars, Brad, IJ23, Rodrigo Lopez Dato, The Coding Owl, Silent, Eldritch, Zadira, Nicholas Halden, Michael Meineke, Joe, Michael Piccone, Cosima, and Eduardo. Have a great day, everyone.